The last day dawns on the kingdom of Ascalon. It arrives with no fanfare, no tolling of alarms. Those who will remember will speak fondly of the warm morning breeze. People carry on with their daily lives, unaware that in a short while, everything they have ever known will come to an end.
Hello and welcome to the domain. My name is Dusk, and I've been having a lot of nostalgia lately for an older series of MMORPGs that are really close to my heart. See, I love the Guild Wars franchise by ArenaNet. I love the fantasy world that they've created. I love all the characters and the landscapes and the regions and just all the lore. It's one of my favorite fantasy worlds. Especially because early in my, I want to say early high school, like late middle school, early high school, I loved Guild Wars 1. It was one of the first MMOs that I had ever played and really gotten into. And so that it has a, a soft, warm spot in my heart just for that game. But I also love Guild Wars 2 as well. I know they are very separate games. They're very, very different from each other. In ArenaNet's attempt to make Guild Wars 1 new and better and more fantastic, they ended up just making something different. It is fantastic, it is wonderful, but a lot of Guild Wars 1 players didn't like the changes and didn't transition over, which is unfortunate, and I wish there was a way to bridge those two communities together. Now, recently, ArenaNet announced that they were going to add a new expansion to Guild Wars 2. Like Heart of Thorns previously and Path of Fire, ArenaNet is now allowing us to go back to Cantha, which was one of my favorite locations from the original Guild Wars 1 series. It is an area we have not yet been able to visit in Guild Wars 2. I don't know what the problem was or why that was delayed, or I really don't know why it's taken so long for them to go back to one of my favorite regions. But here we are, it's 2020, they've announced it, and sometime next year we're going to be able to return to those lands.
This land, it's a monument to mortal resilience. They built new lives upon the very thing that sought to end theirs.
Mortals are little flames, brilliant, hot, then gone. Those who face eternity easily forget what a lifetime means, what an ending means.
You know it doesn't have to be this way.
No, Cunhavine, it does. They need me.
So, the original Guild Wars 1 game was split into three different, regions or continents, three different expansions, if you will. The first one was the original. It was the continent of Tyria, which is both the name of the world and the name of the largest continent. It was your typical kind of fantasy world. You know, you got your medieval fantasy castles and dragons and kind of a European fantasy style, I guess you could say. A year or so later, Guild Wars Factions was announced, and it was the second expansion, which allowed you to travel to the Asian-themed fantasy world, or fantasy land, called Cantha. You had this giant, sprawling, overpopulated metropolitan city that spanned most of the northern part of the continent, and you had this lovely, secluded island that had a beautiful monastery and a whole bunch of rich lore. You also had the Stone Forest, the Echo Vault Forest, and the Jade Sea, which it was an inland sea that was actually turned into solid jade by a calamity that you get to figure out and unravel and deal with the consequences and try to help fix the continent. It was my favorite location from the game, and it was beautiful, and I'm super excited to be able to go there in Guild Wars 2.
Refugees are pouring in from Alona.
If he kills an Elder Dragon, Tyria will never recover.
I cannot stand in the glory of Balthazar's light.
The third expansion allowed us to travel to the lands of Alona, which is kind of an African-themed desert region attached to Tyria. It's kind of like the southeastern section of that continent. It has very rich cultures, which are based on, the cultures of Arabia and Africa and Egypt, and it's another one of my favorite locations. And Guild Wars 2 had already allowed us to travel to those places through Path of Fire.
When the last time that I really played this game was when I was 12. You know that? Can you believe that?
How do you feel?
How much I've grown since then.
Oh, bear. So, I guess I've been rambling on for long enough, and I bet you're wondering what this whole video is about besides, Cantha News, review, things you already know. Well, I want to try to bridge the gap between the Guild Wars 1 players and the Guild Wars 2 players, because there is a divide between the two populations, and I know that there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be trying out Guild Wars 2 in the future, especially with the new expansion coming out and all the hype and excitement that that's out there for the new content. I want Guild Wars 2 players to come to my channel to come watch a recap of the original Guild Wars 1 stories, Prophecies, Factions, Nightfall, and Eye of the North as well, just so that you can get the context for the wonderful rich world that you're experiencing in Guild Wars 2. I want you to be able to know the locations and the people and the history and the lore for the game. You can expect that the future of this channel to be very centered around a lot of Guild Wars content. Now, I'm not going to forget about the Fallout 76 stuff that I still have, that I'm still working on currently. So those will be out soon. I don't think I'm going to return to ESO anytime soon. Those were one of my first videos that I created, and I need some work. The first videos you make on YouTube are just terrible, and you just need to go back and rework them. And so that's a project for another day. I'm going to start out with the Prophecies campaign. We're going to start off in Ascalon. I'm going to go through the story of the hero who goes on to save the world, crossing the mountains, going into Kryta, the Crystal Desert, and the Mersat, and all that fun stuff. Then I will follow up with a series on the Factions campaign, Xingje Island, all the way to Kaineng City, the Kurziks, the Luxons, and then defeating Shiro. That's going to be super fun, and because of course, as you know, it's my favorite location. And I hope to get that done before the expansion comes out for Guild Wars 2, where we get to return to Cantha. It would be nice to, have that out, and then have everyone who plays Guild Wars 2 to, get the opportunity to play through the content, and the two of them will pair up very nicely. And of course, there's going to be the Nightfall campaign and Eye of the North. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel, turn on the notifications. All the content's going to be rolling out here soon. I do stream on Twitch as well. If you really want to get in and watch the live streams of me playing through the campaigns, I have Guild Wars Wednesdays where we play with a couple of my friends and members of my community. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. Just like it's spelled right here. Nice little link. Yeah. You can follow me on my social media. I have a Twitter and an Instagram account. I do a bunch of fan art because I am an artist also. I haven't done stuff for a while, but I have plans. I have lots of plans. Lots of stuff. I just don't have any time. There's never enough time. So I do hope that you continue to follow me on whatever platform you like. Remember, you can join the domain at any time. There are 3 legions that you can join. I'm trying to create a magical, fantastic world of my own, which you can be a part of and you can help write the story. There's Legion Sinus, Ignis, and Sulfur, which compete monthly on my Twitch channel for a prize. All the links are down in the description below to my Discord, Twitch, everything. So if you're interested, go ahead and click on one of those. Please join. I'd like to grow this community much larger. We have a lot of fun. We play Guild Wars. We play Guild Wars 2. Other MMOs. Genshin Impact is kind of a thing right now, and so is Among Us. Oh, I love getting everybody together in a big Among Us group and try to figure out who the imposter is, or maybe even play the hide and seek mode. Again, I thank you for watching this video. Thank you for taking the time to check out the channel. More content coming on the way. I'm gonna really try.